So yeah, we were thinking about that cycle, weren't we? So
Yeah.
sometimes the big feeling has to be released.
Hmm.
It has to be, stopping it mid-cycle, which a lot of us want to do because it's quite painful to watch somebody going through it. But like you say, sometimes it does need to go through the fullness of it, then release. But the key thing is, remember, is the repair. It's
Yes.
that bit
Yeah.
of, even however big that emotion was, there's somebody there that's there to hold you in the end of it. And that's
Hmm.
then when the comfort can happen, can't they?
Yeah.
Just got
Yeah.
one more question on this particular bit on the
Yeah.
co-regulation, and then we'll go on to the third and final question.
Hmm.
Um, is if if you think your child could describe what helps them feel safe with you, what might they say?
I think with Noah is to listen. He really wants to be, even if he knows he can't have the thing he wants or whatever it is, he really wants me to understand and listen to his reasoning, even
Yeah,
if it's still a no, even if, yeah, the
wants
thing's
to be heard.
ended. Yeah, he really needs me to, and it's not just like half-heartedly listening. I've got to really understand him.
Yeah. It's a strange thing because I had my granddaughter, and we were going through town, and I was trying to get her to go past. It was in the shopping centre, and I was trying to get her to go past the Sainsbury's to go into where the paddle courts are. And I
Mm.
think I must have been saying, no, let's go, trying to get her through that because it was such a busy space. And
Mm.
she went, hold on, Nanny, and sat on the floor. She just sat down. She said, I just need you to listen to me for a minute. And she said, I'd quite like to go back on the escalator, but we were trying to get through to the paddle, like to the paddle court.
Yeah,
So I just said, we've had a go now and we can go. And she was fine, but it was just that it was almost like she's not listening to me. In that moment in
yeah.
time, she must have felt like, I want to be listened to. So I think it is important, it's important for us to, if we're talking to somebody and they're just ignoring what we're saying. I mean, I wasn't obviously ignoring her. I was trying to persuade her that we need to go this way rather than that way,
Yeah.
um, because it was busy. But yeah, they do, don't they? Just sometimes want to be
Mm.
um, heard. And I think that is
Yeah.
sometimes not being listened to can make us escalate, can't it? If we're trying to get our
Yeah.
point of view across to somebody else as adults, it's quite frustrating, isn't it, for people not to be listening to us? Like you say,
Mm.
even if we know it's not going to get us anywhere, at least we've had our say.
Yeah, yeah, that's
you
it.
know and again,
Definitely.
it's
Yeah.
part of that autonomy, isn't it, of becoming an autonomous human being, is being
Mm.
able to give your point of view.
Yeah.
um so let's I have got another question for that, but we'll move on to the next
Hmm.
question. So I'm conscious of time. We've been on quite a long time again. We do waffle,
Okay.
don't we? Well, so the last question, question three. Don't you just have a
Yeah, if I can find it now, because I've forgotten what it is. One second. Do. It is drum roll. Do you help form your child's nervous system? So I think what I mean is it just from us alone? Is it all formed from the environment, from the way I deal with things, the way my partner deals with things? Is that their nervous system being built, or does it kind of form its own connections as well?
yeah,
If that makes sense.
yeah. So it's kind of well, if you think first of attachment, there's like attachment theory, and we do have some input, obviously, because we're their parent, so we have one of the biggest jobs really of early parenting is helping to build the child's ability to navigate their internal and external world, their environment. Um, and obviously they're a walking nervous system, aren't they? They're so it develops through thousands of everyday interactions. So it's their nervous system is obviously, if you think of their senses, a child's senses, they're looking, they're listening, you know, they're touching things. They're always exploring the world, aren't they? You know, when they're little, everything is fascinating because it's all new, isn't it? So all of that is helping them build patterning of their environment. You know, what height this is. Will my foot reach up there? Will I pedal? You know, all their inner workings out of how to work themselves as a human being, which is what they're learning, aren't they, when they're little? So it's developing through all these interactions, all the connections, feeding. You know, if you think when you're younger, the feeding in that interaction, connection, comforting, the playing, when you laugh together, reading stories. And again, as I said, the most important thing is after disagreements, that repairing the relationship after any disagreement. So you're helping to build their nervous system. So every time the child feels distress and experiences someone helping them feel safe again, they're building the pathways, you know, the networks in their brain that they'll eventually use to regulate themselves, because it's their we learn through experience. You know, we can only learn about the external world through someone talking to us. We can read about it. You know, if you think about how you learn about the you know, your brain has all those building blocks in there, but you need the sensory input. You need to look at something, and then your brain will go, oh, that's how that works. Oh, yeah, I can see a connection there. You know, that how we that's the child has the developing brain, and you're adding sensory information for them to make those connections. So, and while they're building their own, because it's them that are building it, you know, it's them that are making the connections between them, and they borrow our nervous system. That you know, while they're building their own, you know, so when you're a tiny baby, there's nothing they can do to make themselves feel better if they're hungry, if they're thirsty, or you know, they are completely helpless and at the whim of an adult. So that crying and knowing that if I cry, someone will come. You know, knowing that whole early attachment is really important to make us feel secure in relationships, really. I think that's the key aspect of it. You know, that I have wants and needs, and somebody else that's connecting, human connection, and somebody else is going to help me do that. So if you think about how you and your child bonded, you know, in the early days, that kind of secure attachment. So they arrive with a nervous system that's already, you know, already beautifully designed to develop. They've got all the building blocks and all the different things. What we kind of give as parents is the experiences for them to do it. If you see what I mean. So your relationship doesn't create their nervous system, but it helps shape how they can learn to respond to the world and stimulus, you know, like be careful, watch that, do this, you know, all those oh, there's a step there, you know, it can make them focus on a specific aspect of something. So all the you know, it's like your brain's in a box, isn't it? Almost it's in your skull, and everything that it needs to make those connections has to come in from them sensory inputs. So yeah, thousands of everyday experiences, being comforted, playing together, laughing, feeling understood, that all help gradually build confidence, so that, you know, they can experience life's ups and downs and find the way back again if they've made a mistake, when they mess up. Do you know what I mean? When things go wrong, like it happens for all of us in life, you know, when you go, why did I do that? You know, that kind of, oh no, you know, and I actually think children are great at co-regulating, because you know, when you feel really bad, they're great at coming and giving you a hug, aren't they? It's okay.
It's like we're in sync today. Everything that you're saying is something I'm just about to say, that I had hiccups. I ate a piece of chicken and I went for some hot honey sauce, which I thought would be really nice. Dipped it in, took a massive dip, a massive bite of it, and it was really, really spicy. And I had hiccups, and I wasn't going, oh, really, really spicy. I was just like hiccuping, and Noah said he stopped everything he was doing and was like, you're hiccuping. Maybe water would help with that, or maybe milk. And he was thinking of all the things that could help with the hiccups. And I'm like, they're just wanting to go, oh, no, 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 I'm fine. But it's just, I don't know, that takes me aback as well because I'm not used to, it's weird that he just dropped,
He's
really,
co-regulating you. You
yeah,
know, he's actually, you can see his nervous system because he's reacting to you needing something. And
yeah,
he wouldn't have that if he hadn't have had that himself.
mm,
Do you know what I mean? He might
yeah,
watch it in some other way and think, oh, that's what people should do. But actually,
yeah,
he's having those moments of co-regulation when you can see, actually,
yeah.
he's trying to help me.
It's really
Um,
doing that. It's happening every day with little things where I can just see he's reenacting what I'm doing. And yeah, it's a strange thing to have your child like care for you back because it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of like, oh, I'm supposed to have it all together, but
Well, you're not. It's you're teaching him how to be human, aren't they? And it's those
yeah, yeah,
repeated
true.
experiences. You know, it's not one off. It's not an individual moment of, when we all mess up. It's nothing to do with that. You know, it's the repeated experiences rather than individual moments that support healthy development. You know, when
Mm,
something goes wrong, it's no good going, oh, that was absolutely awful. I've really ruined it. No, you haven't. It's how you repair after that
yeah.
is the key bit. Um, so it's that's the most important bit. So
Hmm.
just want you to think about that is when do you oh no, that's not so we're thinking about how you form it. So if you
Mm.
think about your relationship with your child, what moments come to mind that make you think that felt good? We were really connected. You know what? So it might have been
Yeah.
that time where he's looking after you. You know, those moments you notice
Mm.
how connected you really are.
I think it's definitely with touch. If we're both like laughing at a game and holding hands, or there's some kind of contact, we're both really happy with that. It kind of ticks both our boxes
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh, look how cute, the little cute hand holding mine,
yeah,
and he really loves the touch as well. So that's something we connect with. I think it's when we both just come up with silly words. So, and then it goes off on, it starts with one, then we build on the words. And it's not like I'm sitting down going, this is a structured thing of let's get see where we go with these
yeah,
words. It just happens every day where there's a moment where we do absolutely silly words and we're cracking ourselves up laughing. And we're both looking at each other's eyes, and he knocks his head back and he can't breathe with the laughter. And I love it. That's the best bit. So that's, yeah, just those little moments like that. And then also he'll have like a little project he's working on most days where it's like, right, mummy, draw this or draw this thing. And then just, not even laughing, we're not really laughing, we're being serious, we're focusing. And he'll sit with me while we're creating something and just doing that together. I love that. It's just the best thing.
yeah. So in that moment in time, what what do you think you're doing? You know, what are you doing in that moment in time that make that connection possible?
I think I'm just kind of stepping into his world and listening and focusing, being present. Um, and just being up for whatever we're doing instead of thinking, oh, I've got to do this though, or I've got to do
Yeah,
that, not having the tasks in my head. But it's hard. It's hard because we've all got stuff to do. It's really
yeah,
difficult to get it
yeah.
out of your head because you've
But
got a house in front of you with things that need to be done, and or you've got to go
yeah,
shopping that day, and you could be mid project or mid in the middle of it, thinking, well, there's a nap that's got to be at some point. So then, within a few 20 minutes, I've got to get him ready to go shopping, and how's that going to go? And yeah,
yeah. But if they're moments that make you weep joyful as a parent,
yeah,
shopping always has to happen, doesn't it?
yeah,
Naps have to always happen. But those, I read something this week that said, um, you get to know you have a relationship with your child, um, mostly as an adult. Your relationship with your child is mostly done as an adult, but for that a short little period of time, you get to know them as children. And
Yeah.
obviously my children are grown up, so I know that's completely true. You know,
Mm,
it seems such a long ago. You know, it seems like they've been adults forever now, and such
mm,
a long time ago since they were tiny. Um, you know, and those moments of connection that you've described, they'll be the moments that you remember. And so it's
mm.
those that are really probably the most important. You know, in
Yeah.
thinking, you know, how could you create just a little bit more of that in the week? You know, so those
Mm,
moments where you're really connecting, you really, because that's when you're, I mean, all of the things you do in building the nervous system, but that's when you're really attuned and having that presence, isn't it? And togetherness.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. And then we can have that is amazing and it's made me feel grateful. And yeah, we've had quite a lot of those moments every day this week. But then a tantrum can happen within 10 minutes after that. So I
Yeah,
don't know how you explain that because you can have
yeah,
those moments of connection. And then within 10 minutes, it's, oh, can I have a chocolate now? Well, no, because you can have one maybe after dinner and an explosion. And I'm thinking, well, we've just connected. Like, surely that would last, linger on. But, things just change, don't they? And goes
yeah.
up and down. And
It
yeah,
is that
that's
it's
that's
like
what
a
surprises me the most about parenthood that you can have those moments and then it can go straight down and then back up again. And it's like,
yeah. It's the rhythm. It's, you know, it is that nothing ever lasts. It is that kind of trying to be able to recover from both of the moments, you know, because you can't, like
yeah,
you said, you can't have that connected, laughing together moments forever in any relationship. It always
mm,
has, because like you say, life gets in the way. We have
yeah,
we have stuff, haven't we, what to do? But if you think about those times where you do feel really connected, um,
mm.
what might they be learning? So, what might your child be learning in that moment about themselves and about relationships during those particular points?
um well, I want him to feel like he's able to be silly, to be serious, to be whatever. um really want him to just explore whatever's in his head and get it out. So it's like just that creativity, all of it, just to feel like all of it can happen. Whatever's in his brain, those things can come out.
Yeah, yeah. And that's going to make him more rounded, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
as a thing that he can trust that I can do this. I can
Yeah.
do, you know, and what do we want, you know, when you think about young adults, what would we want them to have belief in themselves that they can do this?
Mm,
Um, you know, so that's really
yeah.
important thing. Um, so I think one of the things that kind of like a bit of a thing to think about is sometimes parents rarely stop, you know, like to notice what you're doing well, you know,
Mm,
and so a couple of things to kind of think is what you're already doing that you like to do more of, you know,
mm,
and when do you most feel like the parent you want to be? You
mm.
know, those kind of questions. So, and like we've just experienced, so it's not incidents, it's not key moments, it's what kind of experience is my child having with me over time, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
throughout the week. You know, it's more like an average of it, because the single moments are great moments, but what
Mm,
builds over is that you know, that's that flow, it's that
yeah. Like,
repetition of
mm.
the
What,
rhythm.
like, kind of like what the almost like what the theme is of his life, what the theme is. Do you know what I mean? Like creating a thing that they know that that's the genre of of what we are, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. It's because
Yeah.
what you're creating is not, you know, we have got nervous systems and the focus has been on a nervous system. But,
Yeah.
you know, and we say, oh, we're walking nervous system, but we're much more than that. You know, we're much more than our reactions. We're much more than our
Yeah.
feelings. You know, there's so much that,
Yeah.
you know, we don't even know really. But if you think about, you know, all the things that you would want to give a child,
Mm,
you know, over time, they remember. You know, everybody
mm,
has experiences that you think, oh, and even when you're old, you think, can remember that, oh God, that happened. And but actually it's over time. If you can think a bit more longer time. So instead
Yeah.
of isolated incidents, so what kind of
Mm.
experiences is my child having with me over time? Because they don't remember one perfect response that you've had, the
Mm.
one day you got it right. They experience a pattern. And they experience the pattern, that kind of pattern of being noticed. They experience a pattern of
Yeah.
being comforted.
Yeah.
Most importantly, that pattern of repair. The being able to feel safe enough to explore, make
Yeah.
mistakes, really bad ones sometimes, but come back enough to be in a safe enough relationship that they're still loved and they're
Yeah.
still cared for. And I think that's probably, like
Yeah.
one of the key things
Mm.
to think about. I had that this last thing about an analogy of your child is like a little boat in a stormy water. What they need is a lighthouse, something to, they don't want the
Yeah.
boat being tossed around. They just need a steady reassuring them that they're not alone until the storm passes. There's a
Yeah.
guardian,
Yeah.
there's somebody strong and shining a light on the world and all the things that we have to experience as humans.
Mm.
Um, so in kind of closing, my key message really is connection doesn't mean never having hard days. It means returning to one another again.